Hi everyone! So finally, it's been confirmed. We now know for sure that Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen were legitimately married, and I'm so thrilled. I also love that we finally got a visual of the pair on their wedding day, and I was so happy I thought I'd do a very inspired video on her braids. I started on clean straight hair with a middle parting, and before beginning I wanted to show you guys some of the accessories I made for this off camera. The first is a string of pearls secured to 2 extension clips. I'll link a recent video I did on these kind of hair attachments in the underbar, and I also built 2 plain pearl lines with 24 gauge craft wire, which took me about 5 minutes to do and were so simple I didn't think you really needed a step-by-step. The sectioning begins as it usually does by separating the front and the back of the hair in a headband parting. For now I'll be focusing my attention on the hair along the sides of my face. I've got a Tupperware of small clear hair ties ready and on hand, and I'll also be using my Sam Via style clips. I really like these because they have a piece of rubber in the center that prevents the hair from creasing. Beginning on the left, I hairsprayed the entire panel and brushed it through with a boar bristle brush. I have super soft frizzy edges, so the product definitely takes down some of that floof. Next, I pulled my hair down and taut and inserted the clip in right at the ear and split the hair below it into 2. Now you can do a rope braid here if you prefer, but I chose to do a rope twist instead because I thought it might look just a tiny bit more soft. A rope twist is almost the same thing as its braided counterpart. I mean, they're literally the exact same shape, but with the twist you just wrap the strands around each other. You don't have to twist them first before twisting them together as you would with a rope braid. Also, if you're wondering about the clip, it's there to give me a softer point of origin, since I'm a relatively heavy-handed braider and I also wanted it to start lower on my length and not right up at the root. With that finished, I made a horizontal half part right at the crown, tied the hair below up and out of the way, and then divided that same section I just made into 2. My next rope twist will be on the lower half of this parting, and you can see that I began on my left side and built it while angling it towards the right. The top piece saw my braid start at the right and move to the left, and I did in fact try to do a French rope twist across that space. I should say, as always, I'll have my Braidtionary video linked below if you need it. Now there's only one more to go, and this time I actually chose to do a rope braid so that the detail would be a little more clear at the end. This one's a micro, so I only used a small patch of hair from the left side of my head to create it. The plain pearl strings were literally an experiment in that I wasn't sure they'd work, but I'm happy to report that I think they totally did. Like I said, I used a 24 gauge wire, which is pretty thin, but it was still sturdy enough that it wrapped around easily while supporting the hair. I also didn't have to use any elastics to keep these guys in place. The extension clip piece was hooked onto the back of my head almost on top of the 2 rope twists at my crown, in as even of a U shape as I could manage on the back of my own head. The micro braid is draped under this U, and I resorted to the tiniest claw clip I could find to hold the end of it up and on the other side. You can use a pin if you'd rather, but I felt that this particular accoutrement was a smudge more secure, at least for me. When the back was finished, I pulled out my Sam Via clips and just dropped those first 2 twists back, over, and around. I don't know if you can see, but by having started the stitch lower on the length in these areas, the braid ended up giving me a decent swoop at the ears, which was pretty sweet. I'm guessing some of you might be wondering why I've gone through the hassle of building 3 separate pearl pieces when a long single string of beads could have worked just as well. I suppose that I did it because I felt like I had a lot more control over the overall placement and eventual aesthetic. To be honest, I'm not actually sure the actress had pearls in her updo, so in a sense this is just me having fun and taking liberties with the character. I do hope you liked my little interpretation though, so until next time, have fun and keep braiding. Bye!